But first, let's take a deeper dive into that Senate race with senior political reporter Jason Whitley. What are you seeing, Jason?
Chris and Cynthia, this is a tremendous night for Ted Cruz at the end of the day and for Texas Republicans. You know, for months in the Senate race here, the polls showed that the race between Colin Allred and Ted Cruz, it was within the margin of error. But at this hour, Cruz's lead is much wider than that, as you just saw a moment ago. Context is important here. 6 years ago, Cruz squeaked out a win against Beto O'Rourke in 2018. Tonight, look at that, a decisive win. 10-point win there so far. This keeps Texas red, solid red. Ted Cruz is in Houston tonight, and Teresa Woodard is there with his campaign. And Teresa, the senator, just took a victory lap within the last half hour, huh?
He absolutely did, Jason. In fact, he is still here at the hotel in Houston. He's on the floor. He's come down from the stage and he is taking pictures and shaking hands with some of his supporters. He said tonight during that victory speech that when he goes back to the Senate, he carries not just a victory, but a mandate, he called it, from the people of Texas. That is not the kind of language that you might have heard him say back in 2018. As you just referenced, Jason, tonight is going to be a much larger margin of victory than his campaign against Beto O'Rourke. Now, if anybody does remember that victory speech from 2018, you might recognize a line that you're about to hear. Back then, Senator Cruz pledged that he would represent all Texans, even those who voted against him. He said something similar tonight. Take a listen.
And I want to say to all of those who didn't support me, you have my word that I will fight for you, for your jobs, for your safety, and for your constitutional rights. But tonight, the people of Texas have spoken. And their message rings clear as a bell across our great state. Texas will remain Texas.
So what exactly does that mean to Ted Cruz to keep Texas Texas? Well, he used the word fight multiple times during this victory speech tonight, fighting for jobs, fighting for values, families, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. He said at one point in time, fighting without retreat, without apology. Senator Cruz was on stage with his father. His mother was here as well. She's about to turn 90 this month, and she was not up on stage, but she was in the room tonight. His wife, Heidi, his two daughters. Several Republican state senators from Texas were on stage as well. Republicans do continue to have an absolute ironclad grasp on this state. This means 3 decades, 30 years without a Democrat winning a statewide race. One other thing that Senator Cruz said tonight, this decisive victory should shake the Democratic establishment to its core. I'm sure there are a lot of Democrats up in Dallas at the Colin Allred watch party tonight who do not feel the same kind of energy that we feel here. Let's go to WFAA's Morgan Young, who has been covering Colin Allred for us during this election. Morgan?
Well, Teresa, we are still here in the Longhorn Ballroom, and I've spoken with many members of the Democratic Party, different state elected officials who are here just sharing a sentiment of, hope throughout the night. But we've certainly seen that energy deflate as the hours and minutes have gone by. One Democrat who is not here is Congressman Colin Allred, which is a bit unusual at this time at the 10 o'clock hour. We have spoken with his campaign. We've been told that they are unsure of when he will get here to make remarks. So everyone here is really just waiting and anticipating what he will have to say. The last time that we checked in, Jason asked if the feeling here was one of, acknowledging that many had already started calling this race for Senator Cruz. And at that time, we had not felt that. Maybe an hour or so later, the MSNBC election night show is on here, and they did project that race for Senator Cruz, and you just heard the whole room kind of let out maybe what could be described as a groan. So that was the first time we really heard that the supporters here were acknowledging that this race had been called. So we are still waiting here to see when the congressman will come, what his response will be, and what his message will be for his supporters. Back to you.